I realized that we're not actually scared of our realities. We are actually scared of our imagined versions of those realities. The stories we tell ourselves are mind boggling sometimes, and the things that we are afraid of, they never even happened or may have never will happen. But the fear of the unknown is just so crippling. I had a couple of experiences this week that really showed me that. I have literally just been in my head about a lot of things, and all of them worked out. And everything I was imagining in my head that was going to go wrong, none of them happened. And I thought to myself, this is quite hilarious. I was literally just laughing with myself about the situation because the way it worked, the way they worked out, I was like, that energy that I was just taking to worry about unnecessary things, I could have very well used those to preserve my energy because I feel a lot of exhaustion. And it's probably because mentally I have so much going on up there. And this really made me see, and just also having conversations with other people who are doing the exact same thing helps me to see that one, it's not a me thing, and two, it's not something that we try to do. It's more like a subconscious thing. But we want to predict everything. We want everything to go as planned, especially if you're a planner. You want everything to go as planned, and even if not as planned, you are trying to mitigate the risk. You're trying to create the best case scenario and or plan for the worst case scenario. And so most often than not, your brain is going to solution for the worst case scenario, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a very crippling thing because you find yourself thinking for a very long period of time and not actually going through the reality. You find that when you actually walk through the fire, it doesn't burn that much. But because we see fire or we imagine fire, we assume it's going to burn. And that's a natural thing, especially when you grow up and become an adult. You see risk everywhere. It's disturbing. It's probably one of the worst things of being a adult. You see risk everywhere, and so the way that when you were a child you would just do random things, you're probably not doing those random things anymore, especially when you're trying to be intentional. And so because of that, you see the fire, you're not going to walk through it. And that fire may very well just be a staircase. It may not even be fire, but that's the level of urgency that our mind puts on things sometimes. And we create those stories in our minds that we then operate from. And imagine thinking this is a fire and not actually taking the action to go through it, and not realizing that it's actually a staircase that is going to lead you to the destination. Not everything looks the way that we want it to look. And I'm realizing this a lot more these days because sometimes we have an idea of what the experience is going to be like, what the outcome is going to be like, and we have it painted in our heads in a way that if it doesn't happen like that, we think it's not happening or it didn't happen. And that is so far from the truth. I've had so much realizations of this recently and even before, and some things I've not really put together, but there are a lot of things that even as I'm saying this right now are coming to my mind that I could talk about. But the reality is not as scary. But because we convince ourselves that it is, we don't even make the situation a reality. We spend way more times in our heads than actually taking actions, actually living the thing out, actually going through the experiences to see if it's something that we should even fear in the first place. And as I am having my experiences very recently, even one happened today, as I'm having these experiences, I'm realizing that we literally brainwash ourselves into fear. And fear of the unknown is such a real thing. And it's a normal thing. It happens all the time. The crippling part of that, though, is allowing it to stifle you. It's allowing you to not take action. It's allowing you to not actually go through the experiences sooner than later. And so if you're in a space like this right now where you're risk scanning is on high alert and you're just not trying to get the experiences because of so much fear, I understand it. I said this before. I literally live in my head a lot more than I live in real life. And that's good and it's very bad also. And it's just this week alone, I just spent so much time thinking about outcomes that could possibly happen that didn't even happen. And I'm not promising you that everything is always going to work out, because everything does not always. But in these experiences that I have had, and in a conversation that I had this week also, it just really showed me like whatever is going to happen is also going to happen anyway. So the energy that we're going to take to kind of either prevent ourselves from taking action or stress ourselves out about outcomes that we can't control, or is energy best used in actually going through the experiences and seeing what's going to happen anyway. All right. So if this sounds interesting to you, give the video a like. Also share it with anybody who could benefit. And tomorrow is my rebuild workshop. If you are in this state where you're thinking about joining the workshop, this may be your opportunity to take some action. So click the link in my description, grab your free seat, share this with anybody who could benefit, and let's come together and talk about creating options for ourselves. I'd love to have you there if this is something that you're interested in taking on at this time. Also, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and comment below and let me know what imaginary reality do you keep going back to every time when you should execute on something. I'd love to hear that below. And follow me on all social media platforms at Khrista-Lee. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Let's go make some mistakes. Bye.